Welcome back, watch fans, to the hottest watch of 2025 that's already doubled in the last 6 to 9 months. We're talking about the Patek Philippe Ellipse. That's right, we're talking about the legendary Patek Philippe Ellipse, but more than that, we're actually talking about the 3582, which is the very rare space age dial, space age dial that came out late 70s, and obviously it's no longer made. Of course, they say this inspired the Apple Watch. Now look, when Patek did this, they literally broke outside of the box. Not just the box, the mold, everything, right? Because it's not just a new case, it's a whole new concept, if you will, right? I mean, this is amazing, unbelievable but true. By the way, these prices have more than doubled in the last 6 to 9 months, and guess what? I think this is going to be a $25,000 watch within 12 months. The prices are only going one way, they're going up. Okay, that's my opinion, this is not investment advice. Again, look at the way the watch reacts with the light. You notice, some of you eagle-eyed observers may notice there's a little bit of white residue, a little bit of dust or something under there. Maybe it's a powder. Now look, this watch comes from a Miami estate, Miami collection of a gentleman in the import-export business, a Colombian gentleman in the import-export business. Now, I don't know what he was importing or exporting, but it could be that, he was wearing the watch during working, whilst working, and some of the residue got underneath the dial. Who knows, right? Look, don't ask, don't tell. That is our official policy. Now look, if you want to be smart, you're going to get yourself one of these watches. Now this is not investment advice, but the prices have more than doubled in the last 6 to 9 months, okay? And this example is available for the lowest price on the planet, okay? No joke, okay? Right now, if you go to Chrono24, you don't believe me? You Google it, okay? You Google it. You go to Chrono24, you're gonna see that Patek 3582. There's one listed for 15 grand. There's one listed for, I don't know, whatever. But they're all well north of 12,000 usually, right? And guess what? There's only 2 listed right now. Only 2 watches available. And a few weeks ago, I think there was 4. So the market is moving, okay? The market is on fire. Don't let these tomato cans and these grifters tell you that the watch market is dead. The watch market for vintage rare watches is on fire, okay? It's absolutely on fire. Unbelievable. But look, it's a very rare watch. If you don't get one of these now, you're gonna miss out. It's like a work of art, right? Like I think these tulips, they did an edition, right? This is like an edition of 3, I think they did, which is from Jeff Koons. Jeff Koons, my homie. Unbelievable, true. And it's fun fact. I actually sat at his old desk. Jeff Koons was one time a commodity futures broker at Siegel Trading at 50 Broadway. And I think it was 1989 or whatever. I actually sat at his desk cold calling, and that's right, Jeff Koons. I think, but he left there, I guess maybe 10 years, maybe 6, 7 years earlier. They told me the guy was an amazing salesman. At the time, he wasn't really well known as an artist. In 1989, I mean, he was kind of known by insiders, but not really well known like today. His prices were not 40, 50 million, right? That's like 40, 50 million right there, right? Now, by the way, you could have gotten yourself a Jeff Koons for like 10 grand. We're talking about the floating basketballs or whatever. I think those were like 10 grand at one point. Today, I think they're a couple mil. Same thing with watches. Now, we're going to talk about why the prices on this watch are exploding. But by the way, in case I haven't told you, this watch is available for purchase, okay, for $11,000 today. $11,500. $11,500 USD, as is where is, okay? You want this watch? You contact me at brutalwatchreviews@gmail.com, and we'll ship it out to you. You send the wire, you send the label, and the watch goes FedEx to you. Unbelievable but true. Now, let me tell you why this thing is going to be a $25,000 watch. First, you got to understand something, okay? You got to understand trends, okay? You guys heard of the Patek Philippe Nautilus? You heard of the Nautilus? You haven't heard of the Nautilus? You Google it. You haven't heard of the Aquanaut? The Patek Aquanaut. How about the Royal Oak? The Aquanaut, the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak, the Nautilus. All those watches were dead in the water 10 years ago. They couldn't give those watches away. They were dead in the water. They couldn't give them away. Today, these are the hottest watches on the planet. Unbelievable but true, right? Unbelievable but true. They're the hottest watches on the planet today. And what happened? Well, trends happen. You know, things go in cycles, just like art. It all goes in cycles. Now, you see this over here? That you got this Murakami and I guess Virgil Abloh. I just found out that's Virgil Abloh. It's the X, whatever that is. So, you know, Murakami, he came out, 20 years ago. He became very hot. And now he's, you know, he went cold. Now he's kind of lukewarm, whatever. He's not really that relevant today. But you know, in 20 years, he's going to come back. So the key to making money with watches and with art is to see where trends have been, and, you know, to realize that, okay, something that was very important at one time can become important again today. So, for example, the Nautilus and the Royal Oak, when they came out 50 years ago, again, literally 1972, that's 50 years ago, those watches were, I can't say they were super hot. They were known by insiders, like the Shah of Iran. You had some, you know, the jet set. It wasn't like, you know, listen, it wasn't like we had we didn't have social media back then. We did not have, you know, it wasn't like things spread like wildfire. So it was people who knew they knew. And they bought the Royal Oak, they bought the Nautilus in the, you know, in the mid 70s, okay? But it wasn't, it took a long time to become popular. And then in the 90s, those watches, you couldn't give them away. They went ice cold. Really, I would say in the 80s. They really were very undesirable watches. And again, you couldn't give them away. They were like, the prices were 10 cents on the dollar of where they are today. Okay, so for example, a Patek 3800, I'll use that example, 3800 would have been $8,000, maybe $8,000 15 years ago. $8 grand, okay? Now, I looked at one for 14 grand 7 years ago, okay? I was stupid, I didn't buy it. And today, they're 30 grand, but they went to like 40 grand, okay? So again, it's the hottest watch, but at one point you couldn't give them away. So same thing with the Ellipse. The Ellipse, same exact historical situation. When the Ellipse came out, it was the hottest watch. It was the watch that you wore when, you know, when you had style, when you had class, and you got some money, because these were not cheap, okay? This was, even back then, this was the equivalent of, you know, like 10 grand today, okay? It was 10 grand, the equivalent of 10 grand in today's money. Look, it's like that movie, Lamborghini, you know, you see those clips on YouTube, they're hilarious. I'd love to see the movie, but I'm just too cheap to pay $3 to YouTube. But you know when the Lamborghini, he says, listen, you buy a Ferrari when you want to be somebody, right? When you want to be somebody, you buy a Ferrari. You buy a Lamborghini when you are somebody, right? So look, you buy an Aquanaut, you buy a Nautilus when you want to be somebody, okay? You buy those watches when you're like a wannabe. You buy the Royal Oak, you buy a modern Royal Oak when you're a wannabe. You buy a vintage Ellipse when you've arrived, when you are somebody. You understand? There's a nuance. It's not for everybody, okay? When you have this watch on your wrist, it tells the world that you're a man of wealth and taste. That's right. Unbelievable but true. Let's see if my private office is open today. There we go. Yeah, so this is, again, 11 G's today. Why is it going to be 25 grand? I'll tell you why it's going to be 25 grand. So we got, by the way, this is like Lake Como, right? Lago de Como. Unbelievable. Again, of course, you got to have that, The infamous Ellipse buckle. You got to have the Ellipse buckle. Unbelievable but true. Now, why is this watch going to be a $25,000 watch? Okay, so again, the Ellipse is just like the Royal Oak, the Nautilus, and the Aquanaut. It was an important watch when it came out. Then it kind of fell out of favor for decades. And styles, taste change, just like the Cartier crash. You know the Cartier crash? You know the Cartier shaped watches? Not even the crash. We're talking about the Cartier bamboo. You know, all the Cartier watches of the 70s, you know, the cases with a little bit of a shape, they're going for huge money. The prices have gone bananas. And guess what? Cartier is not considered a serious watchmaker. It's more of a fashion. It's more of a style. It's more of a, they're a jeweler. So those watches really have more of a jewelry value than a horological value. I mean, it's unbelievable but true. I'm telling you the facts. You know, you may not like the facts, but it is. Now look, again, we got the watch. You know, we don't on this channel. Again, this watch is available for purchase. 11,000. DM me to purchase, and we don't try to hide anything. Okay, so this watch, you got some dust, you got some yayo from Colombia, some Colombian product. Under the dial. Again, listen, every watch tells a story. You know all these guys that tell you the watch tells a story? Yeah, they tell you, oh, this watch was worn by a Pan Am pilot. Yeah, well, this watch was worn by Pablo Escobar. See, no, El Mayo may have worn this watch. I don't know, possibly, but listen, it's from Miami. It's from the 70s and 80s, okay? What do you think was going on in Miami in the 70s and 80s, okay? You don't know what was going on in Miami in the 70s and 80s? You Google it, okay? You Google it, okay? This is, again, this watch, it's the real deal. Now look, you get this watch for 11 G's, you clean it up, you spend a couple $100 on getting a proper strap, you clean up the dust, and you can flip this for 15 grand. Again, I'm not guaranteeing, no, whatever, you know, this is not. But look at Chrono 24. Look where the prices are. Okay, now why am I not doing it? I'm a busy man. I'm too busy to be dealing with peasants. Okay, to get 15 grand, you're gonna have to deal with peasants. And this channel, it's a wholesale only. Okay, cash and carry channel. We don't do peasant stuff. We don't do hand holding. You know, none of that stuff. No returns. Okay, this is not those things where you try it on, see if you like it. No. You pay and you leave. That's the way this channel works. All right, so if you don't like that, you buy it somewhere else. Okay, you buy it, you pay more money if you want the full AD retail experience. I don't blame you. If you want that. It's, you know, but this channel is for, you know, the guy who wants to get a wholesale. You want a wholesale? I'm your guy. Okay. Look at this, original unpolished. This is all original unpolished. These guys on Chrono, all these grifter watch dealers, a lot of these grifter watch dealers out there, you got to be very careful. See, the ducks are quacking. They want, look at that. The ducks want the Ellipse. They want to get that Ellipse. This is unbelievable. You got Canadian geese. These Canadian bastards stealing our money, coming to Las Vegas to steal money from the Americans. You can't trust these Canadians. It's the low lives, total low lives. I hope Trump deports all of them to La Isla de Cucaracha. Them and their geese that shit all over every golf course. Anyway, here's the deal, gentlemen. You got to be very careful when it comes to these, or to all Ellipse watches, because a lot of them usually have flaking on that beautiful sunburst dial. They got flaking, they got some oxidation, and a lot of these Muppet Boiler Room channels, they're going to clean them up. They're going to tell you the watch is mint. They're going to tell you this and that, and also they're not going to have the original buckle. You got to have this buckle, otherwise it's going to cost you like, you know, I don't know, it's like $800 by now. These Ellipse buckles, and they're going up in value because gold is going up. Okay, so I think last time I bought one of these, it was like $650, and it's probably $800 today. Okay, you don't believe me? You Google it. Okay, now look, don't listen to these tomato can grifters out there that tell you, oh yeah, the watch market is dead. Look, here's the reality. These are facts. The Patek Ellipse has more than doubled in the last 6 to 9 months. You couldn't give this watch away 2 years ago. It would have been, you know, $6 grand. This would have been a $6,000 watch 2 years ago. Okay, that's a fact. Today, it's $12,000. Okay, you can have this one for $11,500, as is wholesale price to you. Okay, first come, first serve. Look, there's only 2 watches available on Chrono, and once those are gone, I don't know, there may not be any. There was very low production of these, very low production. Okay. And I think what's going to happen is you're going to have one or two offered at the auctions at Phillips, Sotheby's, or Christie's is going to offer one of these. And I think it's going to hit a very high milestone. Maybe Monaco Legends is going to go for maybe 18 grand. And you know what's going to happen? I think one of you I guarantee you what's going to happen. One of you bouquiacs is going to contact me, 6 months from now and saying, hey man, you still have that watch? Is it still available? Is it available? Hey man, do you still have that? I might be interested. I might be interested. I might be interested. When it's already 18, 20 grand, you're gonna call me and tell me you want this for 11. Guess what? It's not gonna be 11. If I don't think I'm gonna have it by then. But if I do have it, because I'm not really too eager to sell, because I know the prices are going up literally by the day, right? So look, when the watch is 18 at auction, you know how much I'm going to be offering this to you for? 15. So it's going to be up, okay? It's going to be up. There's no way it's going down. I like literally, that I'm willing to almost guarantee. Okay, unbelievable but true. But these things are exploding. Also, look, I remember I told you guys about the Audemars Piguet Royal, not the Cobra, the AP Cobra. If you look at my old videos from about a year ago, I said this watch is 8 grand. It's going up in value. It's doubling and tripling. Guess what? It went from 8 grand to 40 G's. You got Muppet Boiler Room Channel selling for 40 G's. They're 30 G's at auction. This Ellipse is much better than any AP Cobra. You can't even wear the Cobra. This watch is a classy watch. This is like this. You have a watch like this, nobody else is going to have one. I literally guarantee you that. Literally, you walk into one of these sassy watch meetups with a bunch of Chomo Stannies and size 7 Skechers. They're all going to be wearing like modern Rolex and Bouquiac watches. This is a watch with class, okay? This is the precursor of the. By the way, this watch is actually not that small. It wears kind of, on camera everything looks bigger on my wrist, but it actually wears. I have a small wrist, but this wears kind of big almost. It wears I would say it wears like a 36 millimeter Rolex, maybe more, something like that. That's basically what it wears like. So, and if you look at the oval, that's actually the shape of the original design. So this actually gives it a little more size. It's very interesting what they did. They kind of framed it in this kind of space age design. Very 80s, very late 70s, 80s, like late space age, I would call it. And look at the way it reacts to the light. Look, this is all unbelievable but true, guys. Look, don't be tomato cans. Don't miss out. I know a lot of you tomato cans, you missed out on the Nautilus, you missed out on the Aquanaut and the Royal Oak, and also the AP, the Cobra, and you know what? You're gonna most likely you're gonna miss out on this, because you know what? Most of you guys are tomato cans. Your tomato cans, your Chomo Stannies, and your Bouquiacs. So make sure you click like, subscribe.